Hi partners, man, thanks for joining me. Just as you've learned in the report just now reading about this is a video about the Revolution's double hero. Yeah, Dennis Daly, my script writer and researcher, has come up with one today that'll just knock you out. For more than 80 years, my concept of Paul Revere has been a guy who came over from England to the colonies to see what America was like, and happened to be here at the right time when he did his ride during the Revolutionary War. The ones running through the little towns and villages saying, "The British are coming, the British are coming," or whatever it was. Well, I was wrong. Every bit of that is absolutely wrong. What would you say if I told you that Paul Revere may very well have been the guy who actually started the Revolutionary War? No, you heard me right. That's right. Historians think that what this man did actually triggered the beginning of the Revolutionary War. Now, let's start from the beginning. Settle down now, because you're going to like this. Long before that ride that he took going through the towns and villages screaming the British are coming, or whatever it was, he was absolutely famous. He was regarded as a hero, in fact. Who? You're talking about Paul Revere? That's exactly right, Paul Revere. Remember, Dennis changed my mind after over 80 years of my thinking of him as being just at the right place at the right time when he went through those little villages and hollering, "The British are coming." Sit down and relax now. Let me tell you what happened. From a little studio in Boston, he worked. He worked as a craftsman. What? That's right, he was an engraver. He had a super steady hand. Many of his intricate designs were seen on silver goblets and pictures on the dining room tables of the wealthiest people in New England. You see, they'd come in his office, little shop, and tell him what to do, how to make a scene or something very special, unique for that one simple family. Now, there were a lot of close friends, and these were top people in the New England because they were all wealthy, and he was their close buddies. In fact, one of them we know of being a close buddy was none other than John Adams. What? That's right, the guy who on 24 hours a day had freedom on his mind. 24 hours a day. In fact, after the Battle of Yorktown, which was the last one we know of in the Revolutionary War, the government chose John Adams to go over to Paris and sign the treaty with England. That's when he took little Benjamin Franklin with him. That's the same John Adams that was Paul Revere's friend and used to visit him in the shop. I want you to know that John Adams had a cousin named Sam Adams. He was a brewmaster. Still got the beard today that we know about, and that's over 200 years ago he started. Now, he was a man of action. He didn't like to wait for anything. He didn't like what was going on in England. The king was causing problems with the little colonies over there, and they said, "Wait a minute, let's just get free." So often they'd have anti-British rallies all throughout the colonies, and you could bet that Sam Adams in the background somewhere stirring up trouble, because he was a mover and a shaker. Now, here it is. On the 5th of March, a mob left this anti-British rally. They were just walking down the street. They ran into this group of British soldiers on the corner of the street. Well, naturally, they've just been talking about these guys. Hey, look at there. Hey, we got the soldiers over here. Look at those uniforms. Boy, look at those red coats. You can see them a mile away. Hey, you guys like what you're doing? Why don't you go back to England? You love King George so much. Why don't you just go back? We don't need any of your assistance over here. We're doing what we want to do by ourselves. Assistance? They're trying to keep us from doing anything. Well, they kept taunting these soldiers and just screaming and yelling. Finally, some shots rang out, and 5 Bostonians were killed right there. Man alive, you talk about fire. When Paul Revere heard about this, he was so mad he couldn't stand it. he got out his etching equipment and started drawing a picture on this, not to go on some silver goblet or a picture as he did in these homes. He was making a special plate to go onto newspapers depicting what had happened that night. I hate to say this, but I'm going to talk about, you've heard us talk about spin. So what's the spin of this going on? Well, quickly, Paul Revere drew this etching and it made it look like the soldiers were pointing their guns right in the faces of these innocent people and killing them. Just the opposite of what was happening. But people were already fired up. They were so ready to get independence, they believed everything that they saw. And what happened? Within days, this etching that Paul Revere had made was seen in every newspaper in all the colonies. And everybody screamed, talking about Jesus yet. Have you seen what Paul Revere wrote up? You see that etching, what he did? Those soldiers on that night, these people came from a meeting. These people, they saw these soldiers, and the soldiers started making them screaming, saying bad things, and then shot them. This is all wrong. Have you ever seen today on our television show, some of them said, here, the spin, how it goes. It's amazing how one incident could be so important. We call this now the Boston Massacre. Again, like I said, the etching went into newspapers, not on the goblets or something for homes. When those people saw the soldiers firing at civilians, they said, man, this is it. Partners, that etching of Paul Revere actually changed the course of history. Later it was proven it was wrong. This was not right. He had turned the thing around and made the soldiers look guilty. But people were waiting for independence. They would take any little thing and run with it. So we can say now, when I said, I gave you the double thing where he said the revolution's double hero, they thought of him, Paul Revere, as being a hero. Well, in my heart, I still think that Paul Revere had the feeling of independence in his heart. He was wanting just to promote it, but he didn't do right. But anyway, that's what happened. And as Paul Harvey used to say, now you know the rest of the story. Okay, gang, you know the drill. I want you to go back to my page, giving you my report. And as Dennis Daly says, look at the 3 boxes up here in the top of your page, of the page, and you'll see the last one on the right is a box with a red X. All you do is just click that red X. Don't touch anything else, and the video, when it's over, it will go right back to where I am on the report page, and you'll see what's happening. Hey, I love talking about things like this. I still feel strange to think of Paul Revere running through there saying, the British are coming, the British are coming. Oh man, boy, there's horrible. And he was the one that actually started the whole thing. God bless America. Hey, I love you. Go get 'em, Tigers.